This is one of my all-time favorite lunches. Many of you found me from my carnivore videos, and on a daily basis, I get questions about what I'm making at home and to share more recipes. So here is a meat video for you. We're going to do 3 recipes today. Again, these are recipes that work great for families. I have 4 boys, as many of you know. We eat a lot of meat, even when meat is skyrocketing. So I'm going to show you what we're going to do today. We're going to be using chicken today in a chicken divine recipe, but I've kind of modified it to work for carnivore. I'll also show you the ketovore version. We're going to do a pork shoulder. This is going to make a ton of meat, and this is great in lunches, shredded up, perfect as a massive protein to feed everyone. And then we're going to do my meat skillet. I get asked a lot on Instagram about my meat skillet. It's super easy, and we love it, and I eat it all the time. And to cook our big batches of meat, here are the devices we're going to be using. I have this Instapot for cooking up the chicken breast really quickly. I have a heavy skillet to do my meat skillet in. And then I have my other crock pot for doing the big pork roast in. And I will link to everything that I use. Okay, so let's get all this chicken cooked. This is 4 split breasts with the rib meat skin on, bone in. This will also give us a delicious broth. And I set it for 200 degrees for an hour. The next thing to get going is our pork roast. This is another crock pot I have, and I love this one because the interior pot comes out and I can sear on the stove top. I'll turn my stove on to medium. Here's my pork roast. This has a fat cap on it, so I'm going to put that side down first to render down the fat. So while this cooks down, I'm going to start on the meat skillets. So I just chopped up 4 big, thick slices of bacon, so I'm just going to throw that into the skillet. We're going to render this down, and then we'll throw in the meat, and that's really how easy it is with some salt and pepper. I hope you guys can see that most of these recipes are really straightforward. It's just like cooking the meat, but these are things that my boys and I really enjoy, so it works really well for us. I will write the recipes down in the description just so you can look at them, but really, I hope that this video just shows you it's really this simple. The most complicated thing we're going to make today is my take on chicken divine for carnivore, but we'll also make that into a ketovore option, so we'll do 2 versions. Now the bacon's rendered down, so now I'm just going to saute the hamburger meat in with it. If I was making the meat skillet more keto, I would add an onion, but for this recipe instead, it's just hamburger meat and bacon. A little trick I like to do so I can get more crust, because sometimes too much fat will keep it from crusting, is I'll just take a paper towel and suck up extra fat from this just to like give it more space so it doesn't steam as much and it can get crispier. All right, so now our meat skillet is done. You can see that I've got nice crispiness in there. I'm going to actually serve it for myself with some butternut squash puree that I made over the weekend. The sweet and the salty just go so well together for me. I pulled the meat skillet off the stove, and now I'm just going to generously salt and pepper it. This literally is the yummiest carnivore skillet there is. It's just quick, easy, and everyone loves it. You can make this for your whole family for those who are carnivore, and for someone like me who needs to actually gain some weight right now, I'll pair it with a veggie or a starch. Here in my fridge, I've got lots of eggs, lots of meat. This is actually the leftovers from trying to make chicken divine into carnivore for the weekend. I tested it so I could do it for you guys today. Even though this doesn't look that great, it's much better out of the oven, and the boys love this stuff. And then this is the mash that I made over the weekend with butternut squash in it. So this is what I'm going to serve my meat skillet with for lunch today. This is one of my all-time favorite lunches. Like meals, lunch, dinner. This thing is so good. So much nutrition, so much animal fat, great for your hormones. And I love salty and sweet. And this is like the perfect combination. Without the butternut squash, this is straight carnivore, just meat and bacon.
That's good.
Favorite meat skillet?
Yeah.
What do you think about the butternut squash puree with it?
It's also good.
Turner and I and a couple other boys are not on carnivore, but there are some that are. So that's why we try to keep things separate, but we also do combinations so that we can meet everyone's dietary needs. Do you like how we do this?
Yeah.
You think it's sustainable?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you love about eating meat?
Tastes good, I guess.
Satisfying?
Yeah.
So when you pack your lunch for school, what do you usually take?
Sometimes I take chicken or like a meat skillet like this or pulled beef.
Pulled beef. Yeah, so that's the reason we always have containers in the refrigerator for the boys to just build lunches from. This is my son, Emmett, who absolutely loves meat skillet. It's his favorite. Do you take it to lunch like all the time?
Yep.
So you like how I bundle it up and freeze it so that it's easy for lunch? Why do you eat meat?
The protein.
Yeah.
Gives you a long-lasting energy. Mostly with sports.
Yeah.
You also eat popcorn.
You want some meat skillet, Miles?
I love meat skillet.
You love meat skillet?
Yeah.
Bon appetit. Needs to cook longer. So I just flipped the pork shoulder over. You can see that the top got a nice render on it. The most time-consuming aspect of doing the pork shoulder is just getting it sauteed and browned on all sides so that it's yummier. Okay, the underside is done. Now I put it on one of its sides. We'll do all the sides of it, and then we'll stick it back in the crock pot. Okay, it's been browned on all sides, and this is its fat cap, so I put it back in here, and I have the fat cap on top because it's going to render down on top of the meat as it slow cooks, and I have it set to high. All right, our chicken is done now, so I'm just gonna pull it out. I'm gonna shred it. I'm gonna separate out the bones and the chicken skin and throw it back in here with water to make some bone broth. You can see all the chicken's been shredded, and then here's like the juice from when it cooked and some little bits in it. I'm gonna grind this up in my blender with some cream and some more chicken chunks to make my own basically cream of chicken soup, because that's what this normally takes, but we don't want to use that can because it has a lot of other things in it. So I'm just gonna try to make my own can of cream of chicken soup to go into this casserole. Then I'm going to pour in some whipping cream. I'd say that's about 1/4 cup that I just dumped in. I basically have 1.5 cups of this mixture. This is that pot we originally cooked the chicken in. I'm just going to dump the skin and the bones and everything back in it. I'm going to fill it with water, add some onion, some celery, and some carrot, and let it cook for the next few hours so I can have some more stock. Here's our shredded chicken, and here's that mixture for making our wannabe cream of chicken soup mix. Here's another dish that has the broccoli in it. So normally what this dish is a chicken divine, basically that cheesy curry chicken casserole. So it's a mix of chicken and broccoli. Carnivore, we're just going to keep it chicken, and for our ketovore, we're going to have the mix of the chicken with the broccoli. So I'm going to take half of the shredded chicken and toss it on top of the broccoli. Next, I'm going to add mayonnaise to this. I'm going to add 1.5 cups. Remember, it's making 2 big casserole dishes, so we need a lot of sauce for this. If you only wanted to make 1, well, then you could obviously cut this all in half. But you should make 2 and freeze 1. Then you're ready to go. That's enough mayonnaise. We'll do 1/2 cup of sour cream. I'm going to grate the lemon zest into this, and then we'll juice it. Getting all the juice in. Let's mix it all together. Here's 2 cups of shredded sharp cheddar. Can we get it all to fit in this one Pyrex? Let's see. Should have chosen a bigger vessel. Okay, it's gonna work. Now we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of curry. I eyeball this. I probably do more actually, but I just really like curry powder, so I make it as curry as possible. Yeah, it's definitely more than 2 tablespoons. I probably did 4 tablespoons. I just like it to be really yellow and smell super, super curry. It already smells so yummy. So once we get this incorporated, we're gonna dump it over the chicken casseroles, and then they go straight in the oven to bake off. At that point, if you wanted to cover them with tinfoil and freeze them into your freezer, that's when I would stop, because everything's cooked through. Once you pull it from the freezer, you would just stick it in the oven. I keep mine tented initially just to let it thaw down, and then remove it for the last 20 minutes to let it crisp up on top. All right, here are our 2 casserole dishes. Let's pour the sauce on top. Another thing you can do if you want a little bit of crunchiness on top, especially on this one that doesn't have broccoli, is I have pork rind crumbs. So you can just sprinkle these on the top, and it'll just give it like an extra little crispiness. Kind of like panko, but not. And then here's smoked paprika, just to give it a little bit of color on top too. These go into a 350-degree oven. Okay, the oven's at 350. I just got them both in. Again, this is the Ketovore one and this is the Carnivore one, and we'll pull them out in about 30 minutes and see how they're looking. So getting everything to this point took me an active time frame of about an hour and a half. But of course, there was times when I was gone for a couple of hours. So it's 3:42 now, and my chicken divine will be done around 4:15, and the boys will be able to eat it for dinner. The pork is still going, and it's going to go late into the night because it's a big piece of meat. It's over 9 pounds actually. And then my chicken stock that I have going will be done in about 4 hours. But basically it's all hands off cooking at this point. So I'm going to go do some other things, like start to edit this video. Okay, the alarm just went off. I'm going to just toast them a little bit more on top. I just pulled them out of the oven. They smell so yummy, and this is what they look like when they're done. Again, here's the Carnivore one completely, so it's just the chicken with that cheesy sauce that we made for it. And then this one is the Ketovore one, and it has the broccoli with it. I literally love this dish. I could eat this all the time. Carnivore, Ketovore. And of course, we should try it. Probably gonna burn my mouth. It's hot. So yummy. The boys are going to be stoked when they get home because they love this stuff too. All right, it looks like our roast might be done. I did put some cumin, salt, and pepper, and cayenne on this. Stuart, you got it?
Yeah,
You gonna watch this shred?
Think so.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's ready to shred down. And we'll let it cook through the night, and it'll be ready for lunches in the morning.
Oh yeah.
Does that look good?
Yeah.
Ooh, I feel the shoulder blade somewhere in here.
Are you cooking with the bone still in it?
Yeah, because this is where a
That's-
lot of flavor is.
That's gnarly. Oh man, I missed. Oh, I'll get that back.
Oh, we should bring it back up?
Yeah, I missed. I wasn't paying attention.
This
Oh,
bone?
Yeah.
This is a shoulder bone.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll let it go some more tonight. We'll put it on low. And in the morning, it'll be good to go.
Yep.
Okay, come here. Let's switch it to low.
All right. There she goes.
Back to work. All right, it's the next morning. I'm getting ready to go to yoga right now, and I thought I'd check on the pork. So now it's all ready. You can see how it just falls apart itself. You can just salt and pepper this. I did that, plus I added cumin and smoked paprika to it and some cayenne. And the boys will just take this. It's also good to like fry this up on the stove and then add like an egg on top of it. The other thing that's yummy is you can leave some of this meat in this pot and then put in some stock and some refried beans, and it makes like a yummy bean soup, and you just like throw in some pico de gallo, and it's just like yummy, easy pork bean soup. So there you have it. 3 meals that we always eat that are great, that you can do in bulk. They're pretty inexpensive cuts of meat in comparison to how meat has gotten these days. Like this pork shoulder was 9 pounds for $30. So that was like $2.99 a pound. I don't know if you can get meat right now any cheaper than that. The chicken breast, doing it bone in, skin on, is actually a great buy as well. You get so much more chicken than those like frozen little chicken breasts. Hamburger meat right now is the most expensive per pound item I bought. Hamburger meat has just gotten out of control, as most of you guys know. But in the end, if you're not buying packaged food and you're not buying a lot of extra things at the grocery store, you're mostly just buying meat. And meat is so satisfying that your grocery bill might stay the same, but it doesn't increase crazy. I know a lot of people think it does. It really doesn't, because you have no idea how much filler you're constantly eating and buying when you're not just eating meat. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Okay, so now I'm done cooking and I'm gonna edit this video. What did you just make?
Oh, it's a bacon omelet. So it's just egg, bacon, a little bit of cheese and salt.
Perfect little carnivore snack.
Mhm.